I'm Emily Mashak, and I'm joined here today by Christy Smith, the Vice President of Resource Development at United Way of Weld County. So welcome, Christy.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of course. We're excited. Later, I do want to talk a little bit about an event we have coming up you have coming up on October 18th. But before we get to that, I just want to start off with the basics. For those who don't know, what is the United Way of Weld County?
United Way of Weld County is a unique organization that brings the community together to solve issues that have been identified, such as early education, where we're working with children who are from the ages of pre-birth all the way up to 8 years of age to help them get a good start in life, to youth development for those who are in the age then of 9 and above until they graduate from high school and get a successful career. Then we are working also on housing stability, on making sure families have a good, stable home environment. And we're also working on access to services, which is where families can find what they need and how they find it. Do they qualify? All that good stuff. And finally, we're working on older adults and healthy aging, where we're hoping that our older folks who really are the generation that we should admire have a healthy place to stay and in their home.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of stuff.
So it is. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of folks don't realize how much we work at bringing the community together. We have a long time image of collecting donations and then getting them out into agencies' hands. Mm-hmm. But we do much more than that. We have to work together to solve issues and problems.
Can you go into a little bit more detail about how United Way helps each of those groups? I know you mentioned you work with homelessness, children, the elderly, but can you just give me a little more insight into how that works?
Absolutely. Let's start with early childhood. We are working with a program in collaboration again, because you can't do anything alone. We are working collaboratively with the District 6 School District, with Youth for Change, and AmeriCorps Vista. And this program is called the Colorado Reading Corps. And so what we do with that program is bring tutors to children who are at risk of not reading at the right grade level. So that can be a kindergartner, that could be a first grader or a second grader, because if you do not read by the end of the third grade proficiently, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Because up to that point, they teach you to read. After that, at the beginning of the fourth grade, you have to be able to read to learn. So we started this program. We had 7 school sites last academic year. We had 160 students who were in that program. And I'm proud to say it's so successful that 62% of the kids who are in that program not only now read proficiently at the right level, but they are above their peers who were not in the program.
Wow.
So we know it works. And so this year we are proud to have 10 tutors to date in the school district and hope to replicate that so that kids are ready for school. Mm-hmm. Another example would be, as you mentioned, homelessness. And homelessness is something that every community across Weld County is experiencing at some level. And they are more than just the ones that you automatically think of that are standing on the street corner looking for a handout. We have a large population of veterans, of families, and of youth who are homeless, besides the chronic homeless. So we actually received a grant collaboratively, actually this time with Larimer County, and we got together a program called CAPS, which is the Coordinated Assessment, Placement, and Housing System. Big, long, fancy term. But what it does is they gathered all the veteran services. It started just with the veteran population and then looked at who was the most vulnerable. They took all those agencies and they come together and decide who can help that person. And it works because somebody over in this area might have a great fit. Somebody else might have something else that would work for that person, but the others don't. So they'll go on to the next person. Since we started this program in 2016, 321 veterans have been permanently housed. That means they're still in their house today. That number goes down if someone leaves their housing, but we're really excited about that. They've identified 85 more vets that we would have to house. Wow, we're making progress.
That's awesome.
And now they've started that with youth and with families to date as well. So we're excited about those numbers. And it's all because everyone's coming together to make a difference. We can't do it alone.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the organizations that you work with to help make Weld County a better place?
Absolutely. They are our agency partners. They're anything from those that work with CAPS would be our veterans services. Those that are working with early childhood are not only the ones I mentioned in Colorado Reading Corps, but our daycare centers. Life Stories, of course, is one of our big partners. Catholic Charities. There's so many. And so they're all coming together around a certain population so that we can work together better, for sure.
If people needed help from United Way, how can they ask for it or reach out?
The best way to get help in our community, and actually it's across the United States, is to use, use a number that's called 211. You simply dial 211, or you can go to the website, 211colorado.org. There you can chat or website. They are trained and have all of the different services in a database. And from that point, you can negotiate and see where you need to go, what would qualify, what you don't qualify for. We used to have a lot of 1-800 numbers for everything you needed to do. 211 replaced that with this database to make it so that it was simple for anyone to access, including it might be that you have a neighbor who needs a food box. You can help them get on the computer, go to 211, find out what they need and where they need to go. That's the best way.
Not complicated at all.
Not complicated.
That's good. How can people get involved or volunteer with United Way if they want to do that?
Okay, that brings us to lots of different volunteer activities that we do. The biggest one coming up, of course, is Weld Project Connect. This is a one-day event where we need at least 400 volunteers to make that day work.
Wow.
We begin that day with a kind of a general rally, getting everybody together, eating lunch, and then we have guests who line up and are matched then one-on-one with those volunteers. They then navigate through a system. That's why we call them the navigators. And our guests, they can go through almost 60 to 70, I think it's like 72 services right now. They're still adding services. This is different from the old agency fair where you went and you were handed a brochure. This is everyone who's at Weld Project Connect has to give you a service. They have to get something that you need. For instance, you can get a birth certificate, or you can get a flu shot, or you can get yourself checked for diabetes. You can get a massage. You can get a haircut. Everything has a method or service that they have to give you. Those volunteers walk with those guests the entire day. It is so moving and so exciting. In addition, we offer a lot of service projects for companies that want to do service projects. We call them Service to Go. And at Service to Go, you can choose which area you want to do a project on. We have one where they are making mats for the homeless using what they call plarn, which is plastic bags that are woven together to make yarn. And then they make a mat. And that's something that they can carry around, very lightweight, easy for people to do. But there's lots of different ones for Service to Go.
That's really cool. Can you tell me a little bit more about Weld Project Connect? What are the logistics for people who want to volunteer or get involved?
For sure. They can absolutely volunteer. You do have to take a training course because we don't want anyone to feel like they're not prepared. So we have a training course. There's several different training dates on our website at unitedway-weld.org. And they can go to any of those general public announcements areas and get their training. They receive their T-shirt then. That volunteer then gets a lay of the land where things are, how they would respond to a guest that, say, has a lot of questions. Where is childcare? Because we do provide childcare that day. How do they help them get what they need? How do they make a priority list? So they go through every single service so they know exactly what to expect for that day. Everybody at Weld Project Connect comes away with this massive feeling of, man, that was awesome. So they also then, some people help one family, one guest, because it's usually one adult per one volunteer, one-on-one. Others, they take all day because they have a lot of things they want to get done. So it just depends upon your experience. But we definitely need more volunteers to sign up for Weld Project Connect for a great experience for the day.
And they can do that on your website?
They can sign up through our website at unitedway-weld.org. Absolutely.
Great. Now, you've been with United Way of Weld County for a long time, almost 20
years.
Almost 20 years. Well, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
Awesome. How have you seen it make an impact on the community since you've been here?
It's grown. And it's interesting for us. United Way always has been a part of our community. Many people don't know that United Way was born in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so in 1887, I'll tell you the little story here. There's a priest, an elderly woman who was wealthy, a Jewish rabbi, and a couple other reverends who came together because they were always getting asked to help.
Mm-hmm.
And so they decided to create an organization where they could look to avoid duplication. And that, therefore, born the first United Way. Since that time, United Way worldwide has moved and has its headquarters in Virginia, but it's proud to be here in Colorado. But this agency that I work for, this wonderful organization, cares about the people throughout Weld County, not just in Greeley-Evans, but in Windsor, in Dacono, in Firestone, in Eaton, and Auld. All of them are important to us, and that we have a thriving community. And I've seen us expand to those far corners of the community to make a difference. We continue to reach out to partners in those areas as well. When I first came, we did a lot of good work, but we're accomplishing so much more now that we have a bigger reach to reach to, for
Mm-hmm.
sure. Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Do you have any personal stories of people that you've seen benefit from United Way since you've been there? Or how has it impacted you?
I would say I'm a cancer survivor. So I
Mm-hmm.
can tell you as personally a story that when I was young, and the first time I had cancer, because I've had it twice, I was very unsure as a young married woman. We had 2 kids, and I was going to have not to be able to work, all that good stuff. How do you make ends meet? And it was a friend who took me to a United Way. I lived in Texas at the time, and said, they'll be able to figure out how we can help you. They helped me afford a wig. They helped me afford some utility assistance that we needed at the time. So you never know when it could happen to you.
Yeah.
That was 30 years ago, the first time I had cancer. But it's amazing when we all come together, what difference we can make. And it touched my heart then, and I didn't even work for United Way then. So it's exciting that I get to work for an organization that touched my personal life.
Yeah, that is great. Well, congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
a survivor. That is
Thank you very much.
so great to hear. And it's awesome that you are able to turn your experience into helping others like you do now.
Yeah, it is a wonderful pleasure to be able to do so.
That's great. Do you have any final thoughts that you want our listeners to know about United Way of Weld County? What do they need to take away when they change the station?
I think that United Way is a unique organization, and many people don't know exactly what we do. Many folks have described us in lots of different ways. They think that we raise money and then give it out, but that's only one part of what we do. We impact lives every day, and we also impact our agency partners. We help them learn, we help grow together, and collectively we can make such a difference. We hope to keep changing lives. How great would it be if we were able to house those last 85 veterans, and we could say, we don't have any homeless veterans? How exciting would that be? How exciting would it be if our children that were going into the 4th grade were reading at level? I mean, we could blow the socks off this nation. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's exciting for me. And that people, if you need to know more, come see me. I'd love to have a sit-down chat, talk to you about what we're doing, and get excited.
Well, thank you so much, Chrissy. It was a pleasure to sit down and learn what United Way is all about from you. So I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you coming in.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Again, that was Christy Smith, the Vice President of Resource Development for the United Way of Weld County. To learn more about their upcoming event, Weld Project Connect, that takes place on October 18th, you can visit their website at unitedway-weld.org.